Good afternoon, everyone. For today's lesson, we will discuss what is all about ethics. And there are several lessons that we tackled for us to understand more what is all about ethics. So first, we define what does really an ethics means. So ethics deals with the principles of ethical behavior in modern society at the level of the person, society, and the interaction with the environment and other resources. So ethics deals with the interaction between the person and the society and the environment and other shared resources. Ethics is significant for us because it helps us to develop our better judgment and create an rational thoughts which is relevant are connected to the conduct which is good or applicable in a society. So ethics involves moral standards and moral experience. So, as what I said earlier, there are several lessons that we tackled which is connected and relevant in studying ethics. So first, the lesson 1 will tackle why do you need to study ethics and the importance of rules and moral experience. So first, we defined what is moral experience. So moral experience defined as any encounter wherein a person understands that the values he or she believes to be important are either realized or thwarted. So moral experience happens in ourselves, in our daily life, and it is the same like helping an old woman across the road. That is an example of moral experience. So moral experience happens when we take action based in our morality or based in our moral, which is important for us to understand. So next will be rules. Rules will define as a statement that tells you what is or is not allowed in a particular situation. So rules is our basis or the guidelines for us to act or to do what is relevant or what is needed or what is connected in a particular situation. This will be our basis to act simultaneously. So for the next lesson, we will discuss about moral standards versus non-moral standards. So first, we define what is moral standards. So moral standards is a code of what is right or what is wrong without reference to a specific behavior or beliefs. So a moral standards serve as a code for us to do what is right and avoid what is wrong. So moral standards happens without looking for the external authority or without looking for the outside beliefs or behaviors. Next will be the non-moral standards. So moral standards have 6 characteristics. So first, we define what are those 6 characteristics of moral standards. So number 1, moral standards involves behavior that seriously affect other people's well-being. It can either profoundly injure. Number 3 will be moral standards do not depend on any external authority but in how the person perceives the reasonableness of the action. For example, you will not copy your classmate answer or the cheating that exists or that happens during classes or during exams and quiz. So you do not have to cheat or you do not do cheating because you know that cheating is. So number 4, moral standards are believed to be universal. So moral standards exist not only or happens not only in one particular place but in the entire universe or in general. So number 5 will be moral standards are based on objectivity. So this happens when you see a course of action that you believe is wrong or right, and when you believe that that kind of action is wrong, then you ignore that. But when you believe that that course of action is right, then you will do or you will support. Number 6, characteristics of moral standards. So, moral standards are associated with vocabulary that depicts emotion or feelings. So, it involves our course of action. If we do bad things, we feel guilty for ourselves, or we feel shame for ourselves. But when we do right, we are feeling blessed, or we are rewarded for our doings. Next will be non-moral standards. So non-moral standards can be considered as relative standards by which something or someone is judged as either good or bad. So non-moral standards is considered as relative standards. So the persons will be judged based on what are their doings, or what are their course of action show in the society. It's either bad or good. At this moment, we will discuss what is etiquette, policy, law, and the commandment. So first, we define what is etiquette. So etiquette is a set of rules on how an individual should responsibly behave in the society. So this involves on our course of action, on how we connect, or how we behave in a particular situation, for us to be oriented, or to join, or to adapt what are their belief. So next will be the policy. So policy is a clear, simple statement on how an organization plans to handle services, actions, or business. Policy are guiding rules to help with decision making. So policy is the abiding rules, or the statement. So next will be the law. The law is a set of rules created to enforce by the government and its agencies to maintain order, resolve disputes, and protect persons' liberty and rights. So the law are implemented by the government for us to abide, for us to follow. The law must protect the person's liberty and rights. Next will be the commandment. Commandment is a rule to be strictly observed because it was said to be set by a divine entity. So one of the most relevant example for this will be the 10 commandments that we follow in the Bible, because that was strictly observed and that was said. So for the lesson 3, we will discuss about moral dilemma. So first, we define what is dilemma. Dilemma is a situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two or more alternatives, equally undesirable one. A solve facing a problem but solution available to you only create another problem. So, a dilemma happens when a person faces two or more alternatives, which is difficult for us to decide what are the course of action that we do or we apply. And the solution which is applicable can create another problems. So dilemma is composed of 3 levels: the personal, the organizational, and the structural. So first, we discuss what is personal moral dilemma. So personal moral dilemma is when your decision in a situation where there is a moral conflict that can cause either your own or for the other person. So example for this will be the Jane versus Anna. So this dilemma or these labels is happens when your decision or when your will is against for other. So it would be possible that it can create chaos because your decision creates conflicts between others. So next will be the organizational dilemma. So organizational dilemma happens when a member of an organization or an organization is in a situation where there is a moral conflict that affects the member of the group or the entire organization. So this organizational dilemma happens when there is a decision that can affect or that can harm the members or the entire organization. So next will be the structural moral dilemma. So a structural moral dilemma is when a persons or a group of persons who holds a high level positions in the society faces morally conflicting situation wherein the entire social system is affected. So the structural moral dilemma happens when a person who holds a position, especially for those who are in the high level position facing a conflict that can affect the entire system. So for the lesson 4, we will discuss about freedom. So first, according to St. Thomas Aquinas, the difference between the human ethics and the animal's ethics is that animals will behave instinctively while human is rational. So human is different from animals because human can construct a decision. So at this time, we will discuss about the foundation of morality. So C.S. Lewis linked morality as a fleet of ships, but there will be the difference between the two, the ship and the person. The ship is under control by the captain, while the person is free to do and free to decide what are their course of action, because person is given freedom. So at this time, we will discuss about virtue and virtues. So, why is freedom is crucial in your ability to make moral decisions? Morality is about developing virtue, to think morally, performing moral acts, choosing to do what is good and become a habit. So virtue is your thought or behavior guided and displayed high moral acts. So a virtue of a person can be displayed with high moral acts, while the virtues are habits developed through learning and practice. Once you have it, your virtues become your characteristics. So virtues are habits for the person. So next, we will discuss the philosophical insights about freedom. So they considered freedom as a gift. Freedom as a gift because it is the ability to act significantly and it is given by God. So according to them, freedom are given, or freedom is given for us to act significantly, and we use that freedom for the important matters, and it is given by God because we are free to decide. So next, freedom is absolute. So we are given freedom, but we cannot do anything. We are given freedom, but we need to think what is right and avoid what is wrong, because that is considered as freedom as absolute. We cannot do anything, although we are given freedom, but we cannot do anything. So next, freedom demands responsibility. So person are given freedom, or we have always a choice, but also we are responsible for the consequence. So for lesson 5, we will discuss how culture shapes human behavior. So first, we define what is culture. So culture is a complex phenomenon. It contains nearly all aspects of shared human experiences. So culture is a customary forms in a social group of people that shared common beliefs and common norms in the society. So cultures has 4 elements. So the first element will be the symbol. The symbol is when an individuals or a certain group of people find a meaningful ways of communications or belief. The second element will be the language. So language is very significant in one's culture because it is the way of communication. The third one is the belief. It is also an important one because through this belief, the persons or the group of peoples are united and they are oriented each other for one's belief. The fourth one will be the values. The values is also an important one because it is the applicable course of action. And the fifth element or the last one will be the norms. It is the guidelines or the informal guidelines for us to do what is right and avoid what is wrong. This norm is the belief of a certain individuals who belong to one's culture, that the norm that exists in their society. So for the lesson 6, we will discuss about cultural relativism. So according to Alain Locke, the philosopher who used the first term of cultural relativism, he explains that one's behavior or practices is also unacceptable for the group of people. So for the lesson 7, we will discuss about universal values. So there are 3 universal values that shared by all cultures. The first one is caring for the young. So it is important for us and it is universal that we need to take care of our parents, grandmothers, grandfathers, and for our younger brothers. And also, number 2, the murder is wrong, or the killing of other person is wrong, and it was said by the uh, commandments or the Bible that killing of other person is wrong. And number 3 will be the telling the truth, or the tell the truth. It is important and it is universal that we need to tell the truth to maintain the trust of other person. So, for the lesson 8, we will be tackled about the Filipino way. And first, we will discuss the qualities of the Filipino moral identity. So, Dr. Patricia B. Licuanan wrote the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character are rooted in the factors such as: number 1, home environment; number 2, social environment; number 3, culture and language; number 4, history; number 5, the educational system; number 6, the religion; and number 7, or the economic environment; number 8, the political environment; number 9, mass media; and the number 10, or the last number, will be the leadership and the role models. So first, we discuss about home environment. So home environment, to value family and give it primary importance. So it is important that we value first our family. It is the character, or it is the strength of the Filipinos that we value our parents, our grandparents, and for our whole family. Number 2 will be the social and environment. So social environment is characterized by depending on another to survive. So the Filipino character also is a defender one. We depend others for us, or for them to survive. And number 3, the culture and language. So culture and language is very important or very significant for us as the Filipino citizen. Openness to foreign elements with no basic consciousness of our cultural core. So we are open to learn, or we are open to value some foreign cultures. And number 4, the history. The history is regarded as the culprit behind our colonial mentality. History is also a significant who trace back our memories from the colonial mentality, or from the colonial time, or the colonization. Number 5 is the educational system. Educational system is an instrumental in molding the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character. So, educational system is important for us, for us to learn, and for us to maintain our culture and develop our strength and weaknesses of ourselves. We need to educate ourselves to have a better future and to compete from others. And number 6 will be the religion. Religion is also important, that taught us optimism and resilience. The Filipino culture is also the religious one. And number 7, the economic environment. Economic environment, the hard life drive Filipinos to work hard and task with such as living for families to work abroad. So the Filipino are known for working hard despite for the obstacles. Filipinos are very hardworking, and we are known for that. Number 8 will be the political environment. So, political environment and government structures and systems are fraught with problems. So, we as Filipino are also known for the corruption and other problems, or other government problems. And the number 9 will be the mass media. Meanwhile, mass media reinforce our colonial mentality. What did you notice with the ads and the music, movies, fashion, etc.? So we are influenced, we adapt the cultures from the foreign countries, and the mass media was accessed and developed in our countries because of those influential factors. And the last one will be the leadership and the role models. The leadership and the role models, the Filipinos are known by being a good leader. So next, we will discuss about the strengths of the Filipino culture and the Filipino character and weaknesses of the Filipino character. So, for the strengths of Filipino character, there are 7 characters that considered as the strength of the Filipino. Number 1 is pakikipagkapwa-tao. Number 2, family orientation. Number 3, joy and humor. Number 4, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Number 5, hard work and industry. Number 6, faith and religiosity. Number 7, ability to survive. For the weaknesses of the Filipino character, there are 7. Number 1, extreme personalism. Number 2, extreme family-centeredness. Number 3, lack of discipline. Number 4, passivity and lack of initiative. Number 5, colonial mentality. Number 6, kanya-kanya syndrome. And the last, for the number 7, will be the lack of self. So for the next lesson, for the lesson 9, we will be discussing about how is moral character developed. So first, we define what is moral character. Moral is concerned with the principles of right and wrong behavior, or the goodness and badness of the human character, while character is defined as the mental and moral qualities. So, moral character refers to the existence virtues such as integrity, courage, fortitude, honesty, and loyalty. So, moral character was relating for the principles and the attributes of certain individuals. So for the next lesson, for the lesson 10, we will be discussing about the stages of moral development. So according to Lawrence Kohlberg, the philosopher, he defined that there are several stages and levels of moral development. So according to Kohlberg, he studied morality using a very interesting technique. In his research, Kohlberg would ask children and adults to try solve moral dilemmas. So, the first level will be the pre-conventional morality. Judgment at this time solely focus on the self. So, during this time, one's judgment only focus for oneself. Then, in the stage 1, punishment, obedience, orientation. In this stage, if a child must obey the rules of their house and he or she could not be punished. And in the stage 2, in the reward orientation, if the children doing right and he or she was rewarded, then she or he repeated this course of action. Then in the level 2, the conventional morality. So this level of moral reasoning is typically of adolescents and adults. Conventionally, morality is reason and conventional. So this level, the adults or the individuals decide based on the trends in the society. And in the stage 3, good boy and the good girl orientation. This time, they seek approval for the external authority. And then in the stage 4, the authority orientation. By this time, individuals have reached adulthood and usually considered society as a whole when making judgment. Their judgment and their behaviors is based in the society or in the external authority. And in the level 3, the post-conventional, this is also known as the principled level. This is the level of realization, which is an individual's realize that he or she believe of that kind of action is right. So that would be all for this afternoon. Thank you and good day everyone.